I think at a point in time, we all have our insecurities. It's something that keeps hitting you that, am I good enough? Can I do this? Do I just have to quit and just going for something more stable, something more comfortable? But I always believe that once you have the idea doing something, you have to push through. Because if it wasn't meant for you, you wouldn't have gotten that idea in the first place.
Today, I'm talking to Akosua Afriyie. She recently changed her career in the mid of the pandemic to something that she hadn't really done before. And right now, she's excelling it. It's not the first time that she made a drastic change in her life. She was actually born and raised in a small village in Ghana and handpicked to go to the US as part of the Mandela-Washington Fellowship. She even, when she was in the US, got a chance to meet President Obama personally. Well, that sounds very exciting, but we're not just going to talk about the ups. We're also going to talk about some of the downs and the challenges in her life as well.
Hello.
Hi.
Ladies and gentlemen, here she is, the amazing Akosua.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
It's such a pleasure to talk to you because this year you've had an amazing journey. Like, we'll talk about the obstacles that you had to overcome this year, but I admire you for switching your careers during 2020. I think a lot of us actually would love to do that, but we're like, well, it's a crisis, there's a pandemic, there's so many things going on, so much uncertainty. Is this the right time to completely switch careers? And we'll dive into it, but you were like, I have what it takes. I'm going to change my life. I'm going to do something completely different.
Yes. I decided This is the year. It's now or never.
I love that. 2020 is the year.
Yeah.
Amazing. So I would like to go back a little bit to your earlier life. Like, who are you? Where did you grow up? And what did you do first in your career? So we understand what the switch is that you made this year.
All right, sure. So my full name is Akosua Afriyie Mensah, and I'd like to explain a little bit what my name means.
So, yes, please do, and it's such a beautiful name.
Thank you. In Ghana, we give names based on the day you were born. So for me, I was born on a Sunday, and being a girl, I was named Akosua. If I came as a boy, I would have been named Kwesi. So that's the origin of my name. And I was born and raised in Koforidua in the Eastern region. My dad was a medical officer and my mom is an educationist. So growing up in Koforidua, I made my way to the university, and then afterwards I had a scholarship. Actually had a first master's.
Actually, can I go back to your name? Because now I'm curious. You say in Ghana people get a name based on the day that they're born?
Yeah.
So what would be my name then? Like, I'm Ninka and I was born on a Saturday.
So you'll be Ama.
Wow. I love that. Ninka Ama Buddha. Doesn't sound that bad.
Exactly. Yeah. So after the uni, I pursued a first master's degree in population studies, then got a scholarship to pursue another master program in Germany and in Chile.
Wow. And that's like on complete different ends of the world.
Exactly. I was given the option of coming back to Ghana, the Philippines, or Tanzania, and I wanted a different experience. I decided to go to Chile.
Nice. So how was that for you, like coming from Ghana, going to completely different culture like Germany? Like, was it easy for you to adjust? Did you find it difficult?
In Germany, adjusting was a bit difficult. One, because of the language, and two, because of the weather. I mean, we are used to summer all the year in Ghana, and then started to go, and we went during the winter. You go and it's Yes. So I was mostly indoors. I was like, no, I'm not doing this. So I was mostly indoors. But then in Chile, it was such a blast. hanging out with I didn't really understand the Spanish, but then we almost had similar traits. The culture wasn't so different. We both loved music, we loved going out, we liked eating the same kind of food. So it wasn't much of a shock to me compared to Germany, because Germany, I had to learn the language, I had to change my diet, I had to change how I interacted with people. You don't go into people's personal space, things like that. So that was a bit tough, but then I was able to adjust quickly, so it wasn't much of a problem.
So in that sense, Chile was a better cultural match.
Yeah, it was. I had so much fun there.
And you still managed to learn a lot as well.
I did. And I made so many great friends there. We are still in touch from time to time. I try to practice my Spanish a bit. I've forgotten a lot of it, but then I still try to get in touch with them and then practice from time to time. But it was such a nice experience for me.
I can imagine. And Chile is also one of my favorite countries. I hope the weather was better there as well for you.
Yes, I was in Valdivia. It used to rain almost every single day.
So you really won the lottery weather-wise.
Exactly. But it was so much fun.
Yeah, no wonder you went back to sunshine Ghana, because I'm so jealous of the nice climate and the beautiful nature that you have there. I'm happy that I visited on one of my trips. Yeah, so what was next for you after you discovered the world, made so many international friends? You decided to go back home.
Yeah, I did. I came back home and then I joined African Cashew Initiative. It's currently known as the Com Cashew. As an intern, I was working in the communications department. And after a while, I decided I needed something different, something new. So then I moved on to a different company, a marketing and communications company, working as their project manager. And whilst I was there, I had the opportunity of being chosen for the Mandela-Washington Fellowship. It was a program in the US. Yes.
That's such an honor and such an achievement as well, because not everybody gets selected for that.
Yes, the selection process was very rigorous. I was actually very surprised when I was selected. I kept checking, well, maybe this is a mistake. Let me check. But then
that's so funny, right? Like, why would it be a mistake?
I think sometimes we tend to downplay who we are and what we can achieve. So we feel like the next person is better. I'm not doing as much compared to other people in my circle. So why was I chosen? Probably they made a mistake and they're going to send an email to say, hey, sorry, we're supposed to send it to somebody else, but then we sent it to you. So that kept on ringing in my head. But then I think after a day, I was like, oh yeah, I did get it. I really am going on this fellowship. And I just started jubilating all over again.
Amazing. And how did people react when they found out you were selected?
A funny story. So my mom actually called a family meeting. So it was my mom, my aunties, my grandmother, and she's like, so we have some news to tell you. And in my family, when you call a family meeting, it's as if somebody has done something wrong. So
so everybody started gossiping about what it was that you did.
Exactly. It's like, wait, what did I do? Did somebody do something? And then my mom just went and said, okay, so Akosua has something to tell you. I'm like, wait, I didn't call the meeting. You called the meeting, so you should make your announcement. But then I ended up telling them that this is what I had gotten and I'll be leaving for the US for a couple of weeks. African family, they sat me down. Okay, so you have to do this when you go. Don't do this. They prayed for me and then that was it.
So they were relieved, I imagine, right? Like if you expect some bad news and then you actually hear that you've gotten the scholarship and like out of so few people, you were selected. That's amazing.
Yeah, it definitely was. And it definitely was a relief for my family as well. It wasn't bad.
I can totally imagine. So how was that? Like, how was doing the actual fellowship? How was the US for you?
The US was amazing. I had initially gone to the US for holidays, but then this experience was totally different because everything was well thought through. Everything was well planned. We had people coming in to talk to us. We went on several field trips and I was in New York, so it was amazing. We went on several field trips to so many companies people that ordinarily even the average American wouldn't be able to meet on a normal day. We had access to those people. We had senators coming in to talk to us. It was incredible like that before. Yeah, it definitely was. And finally, on the last day of the fellowship, we got to meet President Barack Obama.
Wow.
We did.
How was that?
Yeah, the excitement in the room. My gosh, I can even still feel like I'm having goosebumps just talking about it alone. Before he came out, one of us had to introduce him. And the moment the person stepped on stage, we knew that President Barack Obama was coming. So we all got up, we started making noise, we started jumping, shouting, clapping. It was just wow. It was
Wow.
just amazing
And how
experience.
many of you were in the room?
And I think we're about 2,000 or so. I'm not quite sure. 1,000 people.
I can only imagine the atmosphere and the excitement that you must have been feeling.
It was out of this world.
And how was it? What impression did you get from him in person? Because we always see these people on TV and social media, but meeting somebody in person sometimes can be very different.
Well, I think I liked seeing him more in person than on TV, because I was just in awe. I was just there, just looking at him like, whoa, like President Barack Obama is standing in front of me. Like this is such a dream. But
so your mom called another family meeting. She's like, we have something new to discuss.
I actually took a lot of photos and I sent it to her, and I'm like, look, your daughter from this small town has met the US president. And
That's amazing.
I was really, really excited. It was such a wonderful time.
I can only imagine. And I'm getting goosebumps as you speak as well. So then what? Like you have this amazing experience, you meet the president, and then you decide again to move back home.
Yes. So whilst I was in the US, actually, I realized that the company that I was working with had started taking me off email lists. So I kind of got the vibe that either I was being replaced or I was being fired. I think I wasn't quite sure what was happening.
That's an interesting way of communicating that.
Exactly. I mean, for me, I would have felt that, okay, if I had left, knowing perfectly well that I told you about the fellowship, leaving, you would have either told me, okay, maybe when you go, we'll find someone to replace you, or we can no longer work with you, but then there was no such communication. So when I came back, I actually went there and I had a talk with one of the managing partners, and they said, well, because of my absence, they had to find someone to replace and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, that's okay.
Exactly. Blah, 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 right?
Yeah, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, that's okay. I actually want to do something different now. So that's totally fine with me. And in a few weeks, I actually got another job, a much bigger job and a much better role, working in healthcare at the Ghana College of Physicians and Surgeons on one
and
of their
that's funny
projects.
Sometimes how that works, right? Like one door closes and then another one, much better one, opens up.
Exactly. And in hindsight, I think I might have felt a bit down after coming back, after going through such a wonderful experience, and you come back and this bad news is waiting for you. I felt a bit down, but then after getting the job, I'm like, yeah, I'm glad this happened.
Exactly. And I mean, by all means, it's difficult to top an experience like you had.
Yeah, definitely. So then
healthcare.
I joined the college. I hadn't studied anything in science. I didn't like science actually in school. So this was a very challenging role for me. But then I kept on telling myself that if I have been chosen by President Barack Obama for the Mandela-Washington Fellowship, I can do anything at all. So I decided just putting my all. I worked my butt off, actually. I really did. I stayed so late in the office sometimes just to catch up on things, just to understand things. And I tried as much as possible to interact with people in the medical field to be able to understand certain terms and how they worked, because the language of doctors is different from the language of creatives. So I needed to understand that so I could better work with them. And that paid off. And it was the maiden project in the whole of Africa. It had never been done in Africa before. And here I was handling the project. And it was such a blessing. It was such a blessing. And I had the perfect boss. I had a great boss to help me through the process.
Yeah, and I think you touch upon two things, right? Sometimes being the outsider actually gives you the fresh eyes that a company or an industry needs for that innovation. And the second thing, good supportive bosses that can teach you a lot of things and support you are also very important.
Very, very important. I remember when I got the job, I was supposed to have sent in a letter saying that I accept the job. But here I was living my best life. Oh, I got a job. So I actually forgot to send in the acceptance letter. and then and then one afternoon, my boss calls me like, hey, how are you? I'm like, I'm good. Say, how are you too? Like, I'm good. Then he said, would you bring in your acceptance letter? And I'm like, what acceptance letter? Don't you want the job? I'm like, yes, of course I want the job. Like, yeah, you have to accept. So I have to write a letter to accept. I'm like, oh, okay.
So this time your mom almost had to call the meeting.
Yeah. So then I sent in the letter the next day, and then I think a week later I started working.
And I want to fast forward a little bit because I also want to talk about your transition. But that boss was also one of the reasons that you actually decided to change careers again.
Yes. So we all know of the COVID pandemic. Ghana started having cases around February of this year. Mm-hmm. So around March, April, I think the beginning of April, we got the bad news that my boss had been infected with the COVID, and unfortunately he didn't make it. And that was such a blow to me because he was like a father to me. He was a mentor. I could even say that he was a friend. So hearing that completely broke me, and it just took me back to the time where I lost my dad, and made me feel like, okay, so what's next for me? What do I have to do now? The person I looked up to is no longer there. It was a total blow to me, to my confidence, to my personality, everything. So I think...
Yeah, and that must be especially hard, like losing your father early in life and then having a father figure that's at the same time your boss, a friend, like has so many roles in your life, and also being committed to healthcare, right? And then especially in a healthcare environment, losing somebody that means so much to you, I can imagine that must have been extremely hard.
It was hard. It was hard. And it was coupled with a lot of personal challenges that I was going through. So all these things just came flooding in all at once. And being vocal on social media, I decided to put it out there that, hi guys, I'll be going off Facebook for a while. And a couple of people actually reached out to me in my inbox. One of them stood out for me. It was one doctor who also went on the Mandela-Washington Fellowship, who talked to me and said, hey, I know things can get rough sometimes. He knew my boss had passed. So he reached out and said, if you need someone to talk to, let me know so I can get you a clinical therapist. So I said, okay, if you think that would help, then I would go for it. So he arranged for it in just a couple of minutes. And I got a call from the doctor. He said, okay, I want to see you in my office tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. I'm like, okay. So the following day, I went to see her, and we talked through quite a number of things. And after that, I had a couple more sessions with her, which really helped me a lot. And now I had to tell my mom that I'm talking to a therapist. And she was like, why are you talking to a therapist? Are you okay? Is everything okay with you? I'm like, yeah, I just need to talk to someone. Like, yeah, I'm here. You can talk to me. I'm like, no, you're not a therapist.
And that's such a common reaction, I think, right? That people, on the one hand, feel ashamed that, oh, I'm going to see a therapist. Like, is this really happening? And then other people will be like, why? Like, why would you even do that? So personally, I hope that our new normal after COVID and even during COVID, because a lot of people are struggling mentally now as well, that is that, if you need a therapist, if you feel that it would be helpful to see somebody, that you can. And good for you that you were were able to see somebody so quickly.
Yeah, it was, I think it really helped me. It helped me bounce back faster than I thought I could. And it helped me get through some personal challenges that I was facing. I actually got to understand myself much better. So it really helped me, and I'm really grateful for that opportunity.
And amazing that you have friends like that as well, right? That read
Yeah.
through the messages, like what are you saying and what's really happening.
Definitely, definitely. I can say I have some of the most amazing friends. We are there for each other. We support each other. It doesn't even have to be financial, although sometimes we do support each other financially. But then just being there for each other. Just sometimes, hey, let me take you to lunch. I see you are stressed. Just a phone call or a message. They're really, really supportive, and I'm grateful for my friends.
Yeah, that's amazing. And that's so important. And I think more today than ever.
Yeah, COVID has really taken a lot of things from us.
Yeah, and it brings out a lot of things at the same time, like you were saying. Like it's not just losing somebody, it makes you question your career, your self-confidence, your goal in life. And that's a lot of things to go through at the same time.
Yeah, definitely. It's such a struggle. And when you don't get someone to take you through that process, you might actually feel like you're getting lost in all of it, and that it's not even worth it anymore. Why do I even have to go through this? Why do I have to push through? But the alternative is not to give up. That's just keep
Exactly.
pushing.
And that's interesting, right? That at the one hand, you have this insecure voice, and on the other hand, you have like, I was picked for the fellowship. So how does that work?
So how I see it, I think personally for me, the fellowship put me on a certain pedestal. And I feel like I need to maintain or even go above that pedestal. So I see it as if I decide to quit, then I'm letting down the people who believed in me. I'm letting myself down. And because of the NGO that I've also started, I feel like I'm letting down the kid that we are training. So what rights do I have to go to the communities to empower people when I cannot even empower myself? Or I feel like there's nothing that I can't do. So I have to be strong enough for myself. I have to be strong enough for the people who depend on me, and have to be strong enough for the kids we go to empower. So that's what actually keeps me going.
And that's beautiful. And that's at the same time also so sad that you even doubt yourself, right? Like amazing that you're like, oh yeah, I have achievements, but also sad that the moment that things, and it's not even things related to you, it's things that were happening to you, like bring you in a flow that's less positive.
Yes. I think at a point in time, we all have our insecurities. It's something that keeps hitting you that, am I good enough? Can I do this? Do I just have to quit and just going for something more stable, something more comfortable? But I always believe that once you have the idea doing something, you have to push through. Because if it wasn't meant for you, you wouldn't have gotten that idea in the first place. So no
Yeah,
matter what, you have to push through.
and believe in yourself, right? Like there's enough people that are going to doubt you.
Yes.
But if it's important to you, believe in yourself and that you can actually pull it off.
Yeah.
Or at least that's what works for me.
Yeah, it definitely works. I think it works for everyone. You have to believe in yourself. Yeah.
So your new career.
Yes.
Tell us more about it.
So I've always liked social media, and I've always felt like social media gives me a different voice out there. So I kept playing with different social media platforms over the years. And a cousin of mine started a business, and she saw how I was with social media. So she said, can you help me put together a Facebook page and an Instagram account? I'm like, yeah, sure, I can do that for you. So I set up the pages for her. Then I gave it to her, like, okay, you can manage it. Then after a few days, she came back. She said, no, this is not for me. I can't do
And
this.
that's also important, right? To realize what is it that you like and what is it that you don't like.
Yeah, definitely. So I said, okay, let me help you out with a couple of months, and then after you get a hang of it, I'll just hand it over to you. So I started, and I was also doing photography. I love photography. It was as a hobby of mine. So then I started taking photos of her products and engaging people online, and sales started coming in. And she said, well, it seems you're doing well with this. So why don't I pay you so you manage the social media platforms? And I said, yes, I like money and I like social media. So why not? Just pay me and I'll do it.
And I hope you like your cousin too.
Yeah.
But that's so important, right? That first customer that believes in you as well.
Yes, it was super important, and she was very supportive of me in that anytime I made mistakes, she didn't really sit on my neck like, why did you make this mistake? It was more like a learning process for both of us. So we learned as we went along, and then things just went really like quickly from there.
And then you started taking on other clients, and also clients that are completely unrelated to your cousin's business. So
Yes.
how do you manage different accounts and different social media and different tone of voices and those kind of exciting things?
So social media management to me is more of a strategy. So just like in my previous business, my previous job, where I had to manage different people, different components of the project, I see social media management as a project. So each client is a project on its own, who needs a certain strategy, who needs a certain target audience, a certain voice, a certain brand. So then I categorize it based on the client or the projects that I'm dealing with. And then that helps me with the implementation of it. So it, to me, I see it more like implementing a project as against just posting anything that comes to mind. So that makes it a bit easier for me.
Yeah, and that makes total sense. Though you hear it a lot, even from businesses, that they have somebody like their cousin, but in this case, you're actually very capable, right? But like their 12-year-old daughter, or like not somebody that has the strategic experience that you also have.
Yes.
How do you view that? What I'm very curious, as a professional social manager, media manager, what's your opinion on people that you see are not taking it as seriously?
I think this particular time has actually showed us how powerful online is. So with the COVID and with all of us being at home, the best way to communicate with each other has actually been online. So if you look at it from that perspective, then you realize that you need someone who understands how these online platforms work to be able to tell you even the time to communicate, what to communicate, how to communicate, and who to communicate to. Because communication is about comprehension. You can put something out there, but do people understand it? Are people buying into what you want them to understand? You posting it, you can understand it. So the 12-year-old can post something. He or she understands what he's posting, but does his audience understand that? Does he even have an audience in the first place? So yes, we all do social media, but when you are doing social media for a brand, there are certain things that you just cannot play with. And you just can't say, oh, I just need to post and I'll be fine. No, you just don't need to post. People have millions of followers with very little engagement, and others have very few followers, but the engagement is so high. It's always about connecting to the people.
And engagement, that's a term that's very common for people that spend a lot of time with social media. But for the people that might not be as familiar, what do you mean by the term engagement?
Engagement, more like connecting to the people you are posting to. So the like, the comments, the feedback that you are getting is more like talking to someone one-on-one. The only difference is that the other person is on the other side of the internet. So you can't physically touch the person. But so far as the person likes your post, you're engaging with the person, or the person is engaging with you, you're communicating. The person has shown you that, oh, this is something that I like, this is something that I love, this is something I care about. I feel sad with these kind of posts, things like that. So you get to know what people react to. And then that also helps you to post things that can easily get you that engagement for people to know that I do this kind of business or I sell this kind of product. So if you need something, I'm the first person that you need to talk. And sometimes too, it's just about creating the awareness, not necessarily selling anything, but to just be in the faces of people that it gets stuck in their subconscious. So the moments they think of, I need to get a book. Ooh, okay, I saw online this person, he keeps talking about books. He keeps talking about this particular kind of book. Maybe if I get in touch with him or go through his feed, I'm going to get what I'm looking for. So those kinds of things help.
Yeah. And what is one of the trends that you saw happening in 2020?
Well, in 2020, in 2020, a lot has happened. We with the insurgence of TikTok, now people started posting. I mean, like short. It started well as like a fun way to while away time whilst being quarantined, and now it's turned into like tutorials, getting information out there, how people can do certain things, and then also posting short videos of yourself, lifestyle photos, lifestyle videos, using like Instagram to just go through the different hours of your day. For example, using Twitter to start a conversation. I don't want to get political, but the use of Twitter hashtags has really started a lot of conversation around things happening all over the world. Things, issues in Nigeria,
Even
for
to the
example.
point that hashtags were disabled, right? In the heat
Yes.
of the elections.
Yes. So that should tell you how important social media is, to the point that people feel threatened to even take down those hashtags. It means that we are so much powerful when we use social media, and social media does get results. In Ghana, we use social media for lots of things. So now instead of actually going on a physical demonstration, you start a hashtag online and you just get people follow and use the hashtag, and it gets results for us. So social media now is like the new energetic thing to do right now.
Yeah, and I think that's also still one of the misconceptions that people have that are less present on social media, that everything is fake. Like, to me at least, even on a platform like TikTok, like I feel that people are becoming more vulnerable and more real, and like they talk about their hardships in lives and losing somebody, or like going through a breakup, or what they really look like when they wake up in the morning.
Yeah. So, I mean, with everything, it has its upsides and downsides to it. Yes, there are people who post photos just for the gram, but then there are others too who are becoming more aware of themselves and aren't afraid to show who they are on social media. So now it's not just about showing the happy moments, but if I feel sad and I want to express it, I can just do a video and post it there and say, guys, I feel sad. Just like when I felt like there was too many things happening in my life, and I decided to post on Facebook that I'm going off for a while. It was a cry for help, and thankfully someone heard my cry, and because of that,
And
I
that's
was
even
able to
funny,
get
right? Because your initial reaction was like, I'm gonna shut down. Like, I don't have happy news to share anymore, so I'm gonna go off Facebook because I don't have happy pictures for a couple of weeks or maybe even a couple of months. And yet your friends didn't let you.
No, they didn't. They didn't. I actually got so many messages. I felt love, and I felt like I needed to push through whatever I was going through. And it made me know and understand that social media as we see it is just a couple of people connecting. So it's now the new place for interaction. It's just online. That's the only difference.
And like
Yeah.
you say, it has a real impact on people. Like if you show your support, if you encourage somebody, if you tell people what you like, because we're very easy in saying what we don't like, but it's so important as well to get feedback from the community you're trying to build on what it is that they need, that they like, that they would like to see more of.
Yes. And I can say for a fact that there are some people I've never met who are my friends on social media who are more of my friends than people that I have actually met in person. And we encourage each other. We talk about the things we like. We've actually done a couple of projects together, empowering young children in rural communities. and we've never met before. And a couple of years back, it wasn't like that. You actually had to write, if you're familiar with development work, you have to write like a proposal. Go to the office, go and talk to people, try and convince them why they need to give you sending money or resources. But then now everything is happening online. And it's the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
And you also run an NGO. You started your own NGO with a beautiful name.
Yes, I did.
Would you mind sharing the name?
I started Dare to Dream Ghana.
Yes, Dare to Dream.
Yes, Dare to Dream. What we do is that we help children through arts education and also reading of African literature. There's a little history behind it. So growing up, I realized that I was a bit more artistic. I like painting. I like things that brought out the creative side in me. But then, back then, the focus was go to school, get a grade, and then you can do whatever you want to do. And diving into art wasn't something that my family really supported. So I had to just focus on the books and then leave that behind. It was when I actually grew up that I realized that I really like to do something with my hands. I really want to be a creative. And I realized it was a bit late for me to develop that skill. So then I felt there are people like that, there are children like that who are very talented, but then do not get the needed support to be able to develop their skills and talents. So what if I start an NGO and encourage children that they can be whatever they want? So I'm daring them to dream of whatever they want to do in future. So that's what started It's the Dream.
That's amazing. And are you also using social media to achieve the goals of your NGO?
Yes, we are doing that primarily for brand awareness. So we want people to know and understand that we exist and these are the things that we do. So if they can help or they want us to help, then these are the various platforms or channels that they can use to get in touch with us. And then we post from time to time the projects that we undertake, how it's impacting on the lives of the children that we've trained and what we intend to do in the future. So we do use social media a lot.
That's amazing. And thank you so much for sharing your amazing story with all the ups and downs with us today.
Thank you. Thank you too for giving me the opportunity.
Yes. And to wrap up, I would have one final question for you. And that's, what is your definition of creating your own fortune?
Well, I see creating my own fortune as ultimately being happy. Being happy in the sense that there's been a point in my life where I thought that I had all the finances and the resources to make me happy, but I was completely lost. So in creating my own fortune, it's having the kind of support system where irrespective of whether you're poor, you're rich, you're happy, you're sad, there's always somebody that you can count on. And that to me is like my immediate family. Having my immediate family in good health, in high spirits, everybody okay, that's my fortune.
Yes. And I think that's such an important lesson that 2020 has taught us, how important health and being able to spend time with family is.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
We have
That's amazing. For all people that listen to this or watch this that are like, wow, I want to get in touch, where can they find you?
Okay. I'm in Accra, Ghana, and on Facebook, my name is Nana Akosua Afriyie Mensa. And on Instagram, @C_Afriyie.
All right. For everybody that hears this or sees this, don't worry. We'll make sure that we'll share it in written as well. That might be a little bit easier. But yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for all the great work you do, how you push yourself, how you got yourself back together, and for the great example that you are for all the kids that you're helping to express their creativity and follow their own path.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, I hope you have a great day, and the same to everybody watching this or listening to this. Thank you all for joining us, and make sure that you also know you can also create your own fortune.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
I find it so amazing that over and over, Akosua was able to reinvent herself. From the small village girl to the girl in the White House, to returning back to the village and helping the people out there expressing their artistic skills and talents. And also how she actually manages social media strategically, not only for her clients, but also for her NGO. And yes, Dare to Dream couldn't be a better name for her NGO, because daring to dream she does. And of course, we all have disadvantages and challenges in life. And I love how she's not afraid to share those too. So also we can learn from them. I'm very curious what your thoughts are after this interview, so please share them with us. Make sure that you subscribe and hit the notification button for more inspiring stories from women all over the world. Thank you so much for tuning in, and see you in our next interview.